First time meeting, Ira. Good to meet you. Actually, we were on Vika's Live and had our first words together the other day, and here we are.
That's right. Yeah, and Dave, I gotta say, man, I've been following your stuff for quite some time, and what's interesting is like we're seeing this culmination of everything, and I guess for anybody out there, I gotta say, I try to educate people about this flat Earth thing. Like, even you have an appearance in the video mixtape I made, which is, I got that right behind me here, but it's like a 3-part film that I made to kind of do reverse sorcery, like, which is necessary. Basically, what's happened is people have been put under the heliocentric spell, and I think for anybody who's new to this, I'll just put a leg up on you. Like, the context for a lot of the stuff you lay down in your philosophy works, man. Like, we could sit there and point at the horizon all day, but there are films that David's in, The Next Level with Sean Hibbler and them, and then Level with Me. What I like about those films, I recently watched them all, and I like that these films go straight to the point in sense of like, it breaks it down, gives you a visual cue on everything, and then kind of what I was thinking about talking with you with is like, what about what else is there? Because a lot of these podcasts, it's a lot of people who know less than you, like about flat Earth, and that's so. Anyways, I just think it's really interesting that we both have a similar story in our origin story about how we figured this out, and you used to kind of make fun of it. So did I, because we thought it was ridiculous at first.
Everybody did.
And I just thought it would be interesting to see what would happen when we facilitate a two-way conversation here. It's nice to chat with you one-on-one, man.
I was in another film called Origins Untold. It's a different look at flat Earth. You got to check that one out.
Oh, okay. I'll write it down. Thank you.
You can find it on my IMDb, which I'm looking at for the first time right now. It's an interesting, it's a different way, a different angle. It's more of an artsy film.
Yeah, mine's kind of an art film too. Obviously, I've got like, I use giant robot dinosaurs from Metal Gear Solid to illustrate the nuclear hoax, and I'm sure about like what's going on with that.
I'm all about it, dude.
Yeah, and when we find like, okay, the nuke's going off, but the camera survives, house getting blown apart, like they made our parents' generation do duck and cover operations, and we're still having to share a society with people who continue to believe in these things. So we're basing our entire system on this thing that we can prove is fake.
Let me show you this. I don't know if you've seen this one. Check this out. So this is some island, and they're doing a nuke explosion here. So notice these clouds right here. Okay, so we got a nuclear explosion with these clouds right here. Nuclear explosion going on, right? It's going to go right through the clouds, and then when it clears, ready? Now this is a nuclear atomizing event, and the clouds are still there. I'll show them side by side. Hold on. So these clouds are after the fact, right? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Like, oh, the clouds survive.
No, the clouds survive. All right. No, and here's the thing. This is just like flat Earth. You show somebody this,
yeah,
and they're like, well, and they make up excuses. There's no hope for that person. And it's the same thing with flat Earth. There's so many proofs that can't be explained. Right?
And and what we're doing is we're spell breaking, man.
Yeah.
Like we have a lot in common there. And I just figure, I was like, I finished working on all this. Like, I've been writing a book about this stuff, and I've got this footage in my film Vanishing Point as well. Yeah. Like, and the interviews with the atomic veterans has to be the best comedy I've ever found. Like, Dave, it's like, you have this guy who has a twirly mustache and obviously all sorts of weird stuff on his jacket. And these men in a bingo hall on a freaking Vice News interview are performing stolen valor anyways, because dude's saying, oh, my daughter grew a hump on her back. She started to grow hair all over her body, and we had to shave her twice a day. Like, this is so insane. And they keep a straight face. They're like, You
So
want to think that they're going to laugh, but
when I talk about ships to the outer lands and Kiribati or Kiribati, right? Have
uh-huh.
you seen my stuff on that?
No, no, no.
Oh man, it's well, we found these ships in the middle of Antarctica, and if you unwrap it, they're really going to the outer lands. I'll run through it real quick for you if you want,
Sure.
because
Yeah.
I got and you know what? Let me run through it because this is worth seeing because it's going to make you laugh. Um, if I can find it. All right, here we go. So it is way down here. Okay, so this is we found you can go on a ship tracking website and see find cargo ships, cruise ships, track them. They're all over the place. You can track them, right?
Yeah.
You click on any one of these dots, it'll tell you where the ship is, where it's going, sometimes what it's carrying,
Oh,
captain's name, right?
yeah. I have seen you talk about this.
And so we got this ship that is 905 miles inside of Antarctica. We got another one that was 700 and oh, it was 730, the other one 905, and we clicked on the ship, and it said that it was 850 meters long, 80 meters wide, which is gigantic. And that's all that said. Didn't say anything else. It said it was registered to the nation of Kiribati or Kiribati. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
let me show you what that looks like. So
It's a small island in the Pacific, yeah?
it's a small, but here's something very funny, right? Wait, also when we go to here it is out here, you can't even see it. It's like a K, right? I had to put a pin on it because you can't even see it until you zoom in. And America, China, Vietnam, other countries are like, this is a very important trade route, right? Now notice the spelling, Kiribati. That's how it's spelled, right?
Kiribati. Okay.
Kiribati, right?
Or
And
Kiribati.
so you search Kiribati on Google Earth, and it brings you right there until my video started going viral. Now it goes to another island. Okay. It goes to another island, and they changed Kiribati to a different name, right? Real quick on Kiribati, there's a Captain Cook hotel. I mean, bed and breakfast, whatever. Right? Captain Cook, that's kind of right.
Sounds familiar.
So when we look at all the ships that are at Kiribati, they all have lacking information. It says their destination is either unknown or Christmas Island, and that's all it says.
No
Island, right?
way.
Some people say Kiribati is called Christmas Island, but if you know all the stuff with Christmas Island, Santa, right? Children, right? So who knows what's going on there, right? But this is part I want to get to, and then I'm gonna finish it though. They say that there was nuke testing on Kiribati. Whenever I hear nuke testing, I know that they're trying to keep people away, right? And so look at these pictures. I'll just summarize what this is there. This is a Navy guy or an Army guy, whatever, that said, yeah, it was so bad when the bomb went off. He put his hands over his face, and he could see the bones through his hand.
You could see the X-rays of your hands through your closed eyes.
He's watching Bugs Bunny. He's watching too much Bugs Bunny, right? Yeah. And then these guys here, right? They're walking around nuclear. That's a nuclear bomb. That looks more like a smoldering fire. And nobody cares. Nobody cares. This guy's going that way. This guy's like, oh, la, 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 la. I mean, you'd be running, hitting the deck. You wouldn't, are you freaking kidding me? And then they use this picture, which has been used for the last 40 years, the same picture everywhere. But they're trying to make people say, well, I don't want to go to Kiribati, right? I don't want to go there.
I don't want to shave my daughter twice a day in the future.
Yeah. So now when you search Kiribati, it brings you to this island, right? Which is on the other side of the world almost. Watch, I'm going to zoom out, go over to Kiribati, right? And check it out. They changed the name. Now it's Karamati.
Gaslighting you.
Right? But no, nothing. It's now Karamati.
Kiriti Mati.
And I know I'm pronouncing it wrong. People out there are like, it's Karabas. Whatever. I'm like, that's not how it's spelled, brother. But just for those of you that are new to this, I think that, those ships, if you took this map, and it was like this big, and I wrapped it around a basketball, all of these other lands would become Antarctica at the bottom of the basketball because they'd all be crunched together. So maybe there's a base out here. Maybe there's a base over here. Maybe there's another base over here. How would anyone know unless they tried to meet in the middle, which no one has ever done?
Yeah.
No one's ever done it, right?
And it's just such a perfect way to hide land. Like you and Tanner Stewart explain it so well in the next level. Like
so
you,
yeah. So what
yeah.
if it is an important trade route out here to the outer lands? Maybe we're getting computer chips from out there, weapons, tuna fish. Maybe we're trading children. Maybe that's where all the children are going. Who knows? Right?
Yeah.
Because until people have heard me talk about this, no one's ever heard of Kiribati. So how would you know if there's a trade route going out there to the outer lands?
Oh,
No one's
wow.
allowed to go out here.
Yeah.
And how do you get a working ship 800 meters, hundreds of miles inside of the shoreline of Antarctica?
Might have to acquire one somehow.
How would you get it in onto the land? It's 2 miles high.
Right.
Okay?
It's
not there. Antarctica, as described, doesn't
True.
exist.
Right. The South Pole does not exist. You and I know that. And again, I wanted to have a two-way conversation with you today because I was like, I just want to talk to you, man. I just want you to like, just say whatever. Cause I feel like a lot of these podcasts, you're having to like, you're having to hold their hand for like 2 hours.
That's what I do. Yes.
Like you get railroaded, be like, hold on, slow down. And it's,
yeah,
I'm just like, I think I should talk to you because like, you could show me the stuff. The one question I have for you that I haven't figured out, okay, so I'm a film editor and a hardcore musician. So I understand drums and I understand film editing. I used to play in a band called Murph, and all those guys are film editors. And I learned, by proxy with those guys, right? And what happens is like you have this, I don't know what kind of wizard setup you have to where you can, I don't know if you have this master motherboard where you could just directly just mash buttons and summon videos. My friends and I have speculate and we just can't figure it out, man. Like
how I do it, what I'm doing.
Yeah. Like how do you just summon? Is it Command F? Do you have,
a wizard did it.
Yeah, a wizard did it. Like the John Thor film. By the way, another video mixtaper who's a true artist. Like John Thor is amazing.
John Thor is the best.
I made a trailer for his film. He made how a lot of his films are aesthetically pleasing. Like I make stuff where it's like that.
I love it.
There's one film
feature all
he
of
made.
Stuff. Yeah.
Here's one film he made that's the opposite. And I don't know if you've seen it, but it's so stripped down and just bare bones, like rough cut editing, almost no art. It's in like an anti-art film he made called Empty Hospitals and Dancing Nurses.
I saw it. And I loved it. I loved it.
It's just like whatever, man. Yeah. I'm just gonna put this together and put it out. It's like he edited it.
I'm gonna show you behind the scenes. You ready?
Yeah.
Break the spell. So I have my green screen here, right? So this is me in front of my green screen, right? Okay.
My
clock on the wall someone gave me. That thing is awesome.
You showed us that on Beacas.
Yeah.
The other day.
And so here, whoops.
No, you're good. Take your time.
Hold on. So here's my lights and my computer. I got a screen extension for my MacBook Pro, right?
You're doing all this on a MacBook Pro?
The whole thing's on a MacBook Pro. I got my microphone right there, as you can see, and the lights. I got that light up there.
Oh my God.
And then it's all whoops. I did it sideways. It's all I got some props down here. This is my mixer. Some more stuff. And it's all plugged in. I got everything plugged in over there. I got a master switch.
Oh my God. This is so amazing. And there's your Tesla coil.
There's my Tesla coil, but it's and then this whole contraption folds up. These arms fold in really quick. Boom, boom. Right. Take the computer off, take everything down. It goes in the closet. I could break it down in 1 minute.
It is a wizard's trap. I just wonder how, like, I've seen you in these, and that's what I wanted to pick your mind about, was like, dude, how do you summon this footage so easily? Do you just alphabetize Command F? Like,
so I'll show you again. Hold on. I'm giving away all my secrets.
Well, I'm just like,
it's good. So I use OBS, and I have things categorized. Like if you talk about sunsets, I'll scroll down to sunsets, right? Sunsets, and then I have all my sunsets videos and stuff over here. And so it's like, hey, sunset going to a dot. I'll click that, and oh no, that's whoops.
But it's
when I have something
like
else.
a piece of footage somehow.
Yeah. So if I say, I want to show the half sun, right? Boom, there it is. And then when you zoom in, you can see it that it's not setting below the
Not
ball of the
setting.
Earth. You zoom in, and
Yeah.
it shows that it's still up in the air.
this is I mean, this is phenomenal. I just like, man, I had no idea. In my mind, my little wee little mind, I'm just sitting here thinking that you're like, you've got this massive motherboard full of all these like,
Oh
whistles.
wait, am I? Wait, can't even? Oh no, you can. You can't see my camera right now because I just switched off of it. I thought I was still showing. So now you can see my camera. There you go.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
there you go. So I got to turn it that way. So there it is. My
That's incredible,
got
man.
my flat Earth heaven up here.
Yeah,
I got my map.
yeah,
I got flat Earth stuff all over the place, and I got a
yeah.
shelf that will either be worth millions of dollars or get me put in jail one day for owning these books.
That's kind of, well, that's the binary of what's to come, isn't it?
Uh,
Like that's kind of like we kind of have to. That's kind
yeah,
of part of where
yeah.
awareness we're spreading is like showing people it's like it's not only about flat Earth, it's about all these things are is simultaneity with each other about the totalitarian issue that is getting really obvious to the common person.
So this clock here, it's made of metal. It's offset off the wall. It's beautiful. I put the yellow sticker on the hour hand. It's a 24-hour clock, and they custom make them to your time zone. So your time zone is at the zenith. So wherever the hand is, that's where
Yeah.
your sun is, and
Oh, okay.
they're amazing. And I literally an hour ago added them to the app.
Okay.
And so if anybody wants to buy them, and it's not, I don't even sell them. I don't even know the person that does it. But
Mhm.
if you go to the shopping on the app and then click right there, there it is, and it brings you right to their website. And
Right.
they're not cheap. They're like $150 or something like that. But
Okay.
they're make them 2 feet. That's a 2 foot one, and the 3 foot one is gigantic. It's amazing. But
Yeah,
it,
I'm super gonna
it's
buy one.
it's
Yeah.
beautiful. They're really really nice, and if 100 people buy them, I won't make a single penny. Just so you know.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, because I'm a grifter. I'm a grifter.
Okay, let's get into that. Like, I feel like there's a lot of hot potato going on. Like it's
Yeah.
just I
Let me show you what a grifter I am. I came up with this. That this is the Weiss compass we call it. Uh, and they also have a Gleason's map version. These are cut out. I found a place that'll make them really cheap. And yes, I do get a commission. I think it
yeah.
might be, is it 10% or five? It's cheap. It's like it's tiny because they're so
Yeah.
cheap. And a whole bunch of people bought them. And you know what I did? I didn't take the money. I had him send me a couple dozen of them, and then I give them away.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm a grifter because I took that and I give them away. I give
Well,
them
it's
away.
like think about it like if you write a book, are we not allowed to sell our books? Like was like this is the
I
same
have
thing that
no problem doing
yeah.
things to make money, but I only
Yeah.
do things that I love, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm adding, anything in the shopping area. I
Mhm.
add it because I love it. I'm adding actually some really cool health stuff for people. I'm going to do a health show soon. And the
Cool.
only reason I'm selling it is because I love it and I want
Yeah.
other people to have it.
Right, right. Yeah. No, and that's perfectly, I mean, that it's just putting coin between the producer and the consumer and just efficiently like you're boosting people up, you're boosting the exposure for others and
I'm
in a very humble way. So I mean, I see it, man.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Not everyone sees it, you know.
Well,
The trolls attack, but I ignore. I don't even see them anymore, and it's much more pleasurable way to live life.
yeah, I mean, I mean, so the most powerful words a man can say today is "I was wrong."
I
Somebody
thought
can
it
admit
was
they were
go
wrong
fuck
about something,
yourself.
right? Oh, I mean, maybe they could say something like the Earth is flat. That's pretty powerful too.
No, I
But
get it. I get it. I was just
you
kidding.
know,
Making a joke.
or I mean, I'm sure there's powerful words you can say, in Latin and whatever. But like, you could, to admit you were wrong or something, and just send a nice thing to someone who you might have just like misunderstood. Like when we all first came into this
Yeah.
flat Earth thing, like we didn't want this.
We all used to think the Earth is a globe. Can you imagine that? Could you
like
imagine
like
that?
like look at my microphone cover with the astronauts on it. Like this propaganda is
It's incredible.
everywhere.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
extra lengths just to make sure people stay as confused as possible. And I think you and I both agree. People deserve to know where they live.
You want to see my I have a new physical model of how there could possibly be outer lands. I call it pothole theory. Want to see it?
Oh, oh yeah,
Right.
of course.
So here we go. We got this is continent. You got, maybe this is Madagascar. These are just other continents, right?
Mhm.
And the oceans are very dirty. So and we zoom out, going away from all of these continents, and here's Antarctica. This is Antarctica. It's a very craggy place.
Uh-huh.
And if we fly up and away, and then we go over, a couple, maybe 20,000 miles,
Yeah.
we could find another world.
Right.
Right. We're coming down. Here's another world. Look,
Yeah.
we got another world, and this is Antarctica, and this is
Yeah.
continent. So, maybe this is the land of Mu that sank. There you go.
Yeah, yeah, it could be. And Dave, have you
Pothole theory. Come on,
yeah,
everybody.
that's a really good theory though. It's just like that's a perfect example of just something that's there every day and you're applying appreciation to something so simple. It's like and then the other thing about Lemuria or land of Mu, have you take I think that very much about the plasma moon thing. Like I'm writing a book on this topic and I'm just going as far down the rabbit hole as I can, but I'm just saying like I'll just start and I'll stimulate and I'll let you rail off and finish. But I'm just saying I think the sun is a sonoluminescent cosmic X-ray plasma mirror of our realm, and that you can see the political world map, and then you can see some lands beyond. And if there are more suns and moons on respective lands that are outside of this or whatever, then I think what we're seeing on the moon represents what's on the greater astrological clock, which has a cycle of about 26,000 years. And we're just moving from the eon of Pisces into the eon of Aquarius. And I think we've already started the shift. And I think that us finding out and breaking this flat spell about this heliocentric model, heliosorcery, is like then it's a nexus point in which people can objectively touch the same thing between that and the cathedrals that we can walk into. And we need to think about the cathedrals shape of the earth. Yeah. And it's more about why would they invert the shape of the earth and give us the inversion. And then beyond that, perhaps like something to do with the mycelium and the intelligence networks of nature itself. And perfect. Yeah. See, you got your wizard's traps again. There's the Czech Republic clock, right?
That's been Prague. Yeah.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
It's in Prague. So what you just said to a normie person sounds insane, right? But that
Yes.
normie person
Mhm.
believes in something far more insane than that. They believe that hydrogen and helium can collapse in a vacuum, create gravity, burning up 640 billion tons of fuel every day for billions of years, never change size. Its gravity can hold on to Pluto, ignore our moon and every moon in between, but everything holds on, works perfectly like a clock, right? We can't solve the three-body problem, but the heliocentric, and that the mass of the sun, ready for this, is like 99% of our entire solar system. That's what they tell us.
So they say, right?
So how much helium and hydrogen do you need before it stops expanding and it starts to collapse?
I think the idea is to give people the perception that it's finite and that you're not protected by the gods or
it's to make people not think. Heliocentrism makes people not think, because if they thought, they wouldn't be heliocentrists.
Yeah, we would literally live in a nation of philosophers if we didn't have this going on since before you and I were born.
It literally takes away your ability to think.
It's the ultimate brain rot.
It is. Because you believe in the heliocentric model, you can believe in anything. You can believe that a little thing is going to come and bite you, and it's going to kill grandma, right? If you don't
and think about like what salesmen do. They present something that you could get scared of so that they can sell you something. And the asteroid sales chop, they're like, but the good thing we have astrophysicists who could perfectly calculate upcoming asteroids that could possibly come in and wipe out all life on Earth, just like it wiped out the dinosaurs 66 million years ago. And don't worry, the Cold War, we are the beneficiaries of the Cold War. Thanks to everyone for paying taxes and funding the New World Order, because now our nuclear weapons can protect you from those asteroids. And all you got to do is pay us money forever. And also, you're on a globe.
Yeah.
And what people need to do is actually like talk together in a philosophical plaza. And guys like you are running around just simply like, I love how you have this ability to use this wizard setup that you just showed. The fourth wall break was kind of incredible. And you have this way of explaining what's going on, and we are trying to teach people where they really live. And you have to wait till someone's open to it. Of course, it's such a delicate issue for so many
But
people.
here's the thing, more and more people are waking up every day. The anti-flat earthers are out there going, there's a mass exodus from flat earth. No, four
No.
people were forced, it appears. It looks suspicious. I'll just say that because I'm not allowed to say anything. Um, that have flipped but can't explain why. They're like the Gleason's map is dead. I'm like, can you explain why? No, I can't really explain why, but it's dead. And flat Earth is not biblical anymore. What?
Yeah.
What is going on? But the thing is, more and more people are waking up. Somebody, a follower of mine, said that his fifth grade kid or grandkid, I'm not sure, their teacher was talking about flat Earth in school. And so he's trying to get me to present to the fifth grade class. I'm like, all right, let's see where this goes. And then they got the principal, and the principal's like, oh, let me talk to him. So I set up a Zoom call with the principal, and he brought two science teachers with him. So the three of us, four of us, three of them, four of us,
Yeah.
had a call. This was 2 days ago. Wow. And I said, I'm here to convince you that you're not going to allow me to come to your school, because what I'm going to talk about goes against everything. And I hit him up with Tartaria. I hit him up with Flat Earth. I showed him stuff. I hit him with a bunch of stuff, and they're all jaw dropped. And the science teacher, I said, like, why? I said, what's your number one proof, that makes you teach your kids about the Earth being globe? He goes, well, we do experiments. I'm like, well, what experiments do you do? He goes, well, we take a ball and we put a boat on it, and we ride the boat over the ball, and the kids watch it disappear from the bottom up. He goes, then we do it on a flat map, and the boat never disappears. Right? And
it's the oldest
that's not an experiment. I said, but I pointed out that, your ball has a specific requirement of curvature that none of your observations match, right? And I explained at 3 miles or 6 feet, at 10 miles or 66 feet. And I explained how boats disappear from the bottom up. I showed them how waves affect everything and atmosphere. Right. And they jaw dropped. And they're all like, they want to learn more. They're like, okay, where can I learn more? So now I got a principal and two science teachers, and they're connecting me with their high school. Also, they want me to talk to the head of the science department there. So I think I'm going to be doing a big Zoom call with the entire science department soon. So, the Globers come out like, Dave's obsessed with children. Yes, I am. I'm
it's
educating children properly, teaching them both models, and say, which one do you think makes sense?
Which one's more ridiculous?
Which one? No, don't say that about flat Earth. Flat Earth is not ridiculous at all.
No, it's not. Right.
It's ridiculous if you believe in the ball.
This is ridiculous.
This is
art.
That's art. It's not a photograph.
It's
here. So you and I, we're gonna make a screenplay. Ready?
Yeah.
It's the first guys ever on the moon. Okay, and we have to write the script, and it has to be believable. Okay. All right. So they get there. They step out of the spaceship. What's the first couple lines they say?
Well,
I'll give you my version. Yeah. Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, dude. No,
okay. Holy fucking shit! Look at the Earth. Oh my fucking god! Look at the Earth. Holy crap! Look, there's China. Holy fuck! I see the wall of China.
That's literally what I would say.
That's all you could say. That's all.
Actually,
the entire thing.
Yeah.
But check this out. In all of the moon missions, never once did they point the video camera at the Earth, and never once did they say the word Earth. Okay.
Like, look, our home is way over there.
I always make the comment, like, if I'm flying into home from somewhere, and I look down, I'm like, oh, I can see my house. I'll tell the fucking stranger next to me, look, that's my house. He couldn't give a shit. Okay. But you're on the fucking moon looking at the Earth, and you never say Earth. You never go, holy crap, look at that. Wow, I'm fucking upside down. Nothing.
And then they come back and they look constipated and ashamed.
Well, there was a shock. They've been away for so long, There
was a lot of work, a lot of science they had.
Yeah, a lot of science.
Yeah.
Science.
Yeah, and Dave, I think that's a really cool thing that's coming out of this, and like especially in the world of metaphysics and people, I'd like to pick your mind and see what you think about the realms of magic and plasma, and then maybe like if you
Okay.
know about things like the spectral realm and astral projection and things, because that's like stuff that people never talk to you about. What are your
You know what?
thoughts
That's
there?
funny because just today I was talking to Steve Faulkner from Space Busters, who I was at
Mhm.
Anarchapulco with, and Christoph Michalza, I can't pronounce the last name. He's an astro traveler, literally goes into the friggin' astral plane and battles like people. Like he went
Yeah,
to the Vatican and did left
yeah.
spells in there, like all of the stuff. And like I know about this stuff, but I just didn't know anybody that did it. This guy, it blew me away. So
So
I don't
so
know.
that's
I don't know
that's the
shit
new
about it.
Steve Faulkner
Yeah.
interview.
No, no. This is just me and him talking. Every time we
Oh.
talk, I'm like, we should just friggin' record this because we talk for 2 or 3 hours, and it would have been an epic podcast.
Call it just like that's kind of what I was thinking is like you're really good at teaching this stuff, but like what are you finding at the tip of the spear is kind of why I was asking that, because that stuff I'm talking about there is where the tip of the spear really goes, because this what I've come to discover myself, and hold my beer here, but like this realm we're seeing with our five senses, just like a radio tuner, the amygdala of your mind is kind of like the radio tuner. And I like to say my film is called Vanishing Point, and one of the points that anybody who's listening to this already would probably already know, the world's flat, so I'm not spoiling too much. But the only sphere that exists is not the world itself, but between the amygdala of your mind and the vanishing point of sight, which is the horizon. The only sphere that exists is our eyeballs, and people have been too egoistic to like do mirror work and simple things like that. But that stuff is a conduit for the metaphysical, because modern science and the scientific method itself is not the top of reality. It is only a tool. It is a hammer sitting in a box at
Yep.
this point. And there's stuff beyond it, but like what I've learned is with this kind of tuning fork of your mind, you have your chakra levels which you change, but the levels of vibration in which the reality around you shifts almost like in a spectral plane. It adjusts according to the vibration your mind and body goes into, and it works just like an old radio tuner, but your five senses adjust, dude.
They don't
You know how
want you to
crazy that
know
is?
any of that. All of that is mumbo jumbo. They want you to
Yeah.
believe that it's a physical world. You're going to turn into worm meat when you're done. That we're here by random spec, by mutations from monkeys to humans, eyeballs formed, we're able to make computer chips. They want you to believe that we're at the pinnacle of civilization. They want you to believe that we don't have extrasensory perceptions. They don't
Yeah.
want you to believe that we're all connected. Everything's connected. The moon is connected. It runs women's cycles. Women's cycles
Yes.
connected. It's not a piece of the earth that came off when there was a collision, right? And
The
turned into a
perfect circle
ball.
too.
Yeah, perfect circle, and it pulls on the tides. But
Ridiculous.
get the friggin' get out of here. Just get out, right? And as far as just going back to the plasma moon theory,
Yeah.
a lot of people use the word reflection. I think there's a better word. I don't
Oh,
know what it is, right? Like monkey DNA is like 98% the same as humans, right? Is that a
right.
reflection or is that just part of the same system,
Ah,
right?
okay.
So the moon map is just part of the system. It's as above, so below. I don't know if that's it.
Mhm.
I think it's part of. I don't think it's reflecting the Earth. I don't think it's a snapshot of the Earth, but I
Interesting.
think it might look just like the Earth.
Hmm.
Okay, I think it
Yeah.
might show us. It might be even projecting our physical. Like without the
Yeah.
moon, maybe
Yeah.
our lands wouldn't stay here. I don't know.
Yeah. It,
Again,
it, it might just be like the sun's negative, because
yeah,
the law of correspondence needs a negative. Like the sun would be a positive, right?
yeah.
So, and then even in so, it's like this thing about the reflection maybe being an insufficient word. Like Nietzsche wrote about this and beyond in his book Beyond Good and Evil, about how every word is a mask upon the meaning of whatever the word is describing. There's not even a word that is beyond what the word is. And we find the English language, when we're spelling and we're creating torus fields with the way we speak, we're creating
Absolutely.
the reality, but it's like it's reverse. Somebody found it's even numerologically reverse Hebrew. So it's like, well, what happens when we start reverse engineering these things?
The words cast spells, but the intention is where the power is. The
That's
intention
right.
behind the word. world. Everything down here is matter, but everything in the sky is spirit, right? But the heliocentrists want you to think that matters here and matters in the sky, and therefore it only works on their heliocentric ball. You lighting something on fire, or
Yeah, I'm listening.
okay,
It's a bay leaf.
okay, very nice.
You setting your intention to
Yeah.
something I wrote on it earlier. I'm showing an example.
Nice, perfect. Do you know about tobacco? Like if you do a prayer and then take a puff of pure organic tobacco, it sends your prayers directly to heaven.
Yeah, it's burning spirits.
Yeah, very good. So we're connected to everything. But what does the heliocentric model do? It disconnects you. It puts you in a ball prison that disconnects you from creation. So why does it matter? I still have to go to work on Monday.
Go for it.
Right? That's what people say.
They say that to me every day.
And honestly, I couldn't tell you what today is. Actually, today is Thursday because I swam this morning.
We got a full moon in Libra tonight.
Yeah. I don't have to go to work on Monday, but I work 7 days a week now.
I
don't stop. I don't stop.
Yeah, it's
again,
vigilant.
If you allow this this world, and I call it a universe because it's one verse, right? The universe that God created the world. If you allow it, it's going to give you everything that you truly want. But if you say, I want $1 million, you're saying, I'm broke and I'm never going to have $1 million and I'm going to end up in a poorhouse. That's what you're saying when you say one, because nobody wants $1 million.
The reality around you is just going to adjust accordingly to what you're saying. Right?
You want what you think $1 million will bring you. Okay.
Okay.
Right. You don't want $1 million. Who wants a friggin' pile of paper? Okay. You want what you think that will bring you. Don't get me wrong. $1 million will bring you a lot of stuff that you can get into a lot of trouble with or do a lot of good with. Okay. But instead of focusing on the money, you got to focus on the feeling, right? What do you want to feel like?
Right.
And that's what brings physical manifestation into your life.
That's deep. That's a deep one right there, and it's like that is the depths, is the inner world is exactly like, the stuff that Carl Jung was talking about. Actually, I have it right here. He's talking about the inner world journey in this book, Ion, Researches in the Phenomenology of the Self. And, using this pathway and then using the Christ figure as an example of how someone can achieve such things for themselves in a way. And that inner world is what's been hidden from us. And they used this globe to achieve it. I don't know if you know my friend, Taylor Price, but, there's things where it's like, we're learning things like, regarding like chi and prana, and how can we move something with the ether, and like, kind of like the Starry Night painting. And I definitely recommend you have a conversation with him sometime.
Did Picasso really exist? Because when Mid-Journey first came out, I described a Picasso style picture with sailboats and the spirals in the sky. It's better than Picasso. It's exactly like Picasso. I'm like, was that all done? Is that all AI? Like, did you ever meet Picasso himself?
Or what about some of these paintings in the art museums that they provide for the public? Hey, free admission. Some of these paintings, they're trying to emotionally bait people into looking at these things and be like, oh, you can't criticize it because it's native history or something. And it looks like some demon painted it. Like, it doesn't look like anything it looks like it was painted like last year by some idiot.
I saw it doesn't remind me. I saw it was actually a TikTok. I'll talk about Disney. It has every movie has beautiful princesses in it. Everyone has got beauty in the it's Beauty and the Beast, and you got Cinderella. I can't name them all, but there's like 30 different princesses. But the 2 movies they do about Africa, it's all animals. There's no beautiful. It's all animals.
Because yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it's what's the one with the lion? What's it called? Lion King, and what is it? What do they say? Atumba. What was the saying in Lion King?
Kumba. No, not Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata, which means without father, I think, or something to that nature.
No way.
Yeah, I think so.
So it's like they're just throwing these like epithet type jokes in there, just right in plain sight. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Oh, wow.
it's kind of it's everything's right in your face. I mean, this world is hysterical. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, but if you focus on all of the negativity and everything, that's what they want. They want us fearing. They want the stock market goes down. They want people freaking out. Then it goes up and it goes down, and
Yeah.
and they're washing people out at the bottom. They're
Right.
literally trying to keep people in fear because fear is the only way they can control us. If you
Yeah.
have zero fear and unconditional love, you are untouchable.
Yeah. Like that's
Untouchable.
and Dave, well, I should say you it sounds like you might have seen Guy Ritchie's film called Revolver. Have you ever seen this?
I probably have. I used to watch
It's
all
it's
movies.
it's one of those films that's about the inner world, but it's Jason Statham's in it. Andre Benjamin, he's Andre 3000 from Outcast, if you know that band. And this 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 film is the best film of all time. Like I made my film like I wanted to make, and I'll just break the fourth wall for you. And my film, which you have a cameo in there. I just found some stuff of you chatting somewhere.
Well,
You were standing next to rocks in some video, and but what I wanted to do was tell people, oh, it's my film about chess and rockets, and then some people like if especially if they have 10 years of university science studies, like they
those are
need
the
like a
worst.
they well the some of them when they watch my film they think they're watching an art film, and that's cool, but they might need like a puke bucket halfway through it because it's like, yeah, I mean, I'm purging you of this mental sickness, which is it's creating all these problems for so many people. But like I know that if I were to tell them it's my flat earth movie,
You're not
like
going to watch it, right?
well, yeah, and a three-part film, people will get like 2 hours deep, and there's an intermission. There's two intermissions in my film because I want to give people like a digestion, like pause, go to the bathroom. Like I'm not trying to like harm you with a 4-hour film. Like come back later, right? Some people have to take like a break, but like the third part is the part where it's like, okay, I'm gonna flat smack anybody who's watching this. And if you can watch all 4 hours of my film, anybody who's listening, and you come out really believing in the globe, like I don't, you have
It's
to be
impossible.
blind.
It's
You have to
impossible.
be,
Right.
well, yeah. And one of my favorite scenes from it, um, is where Helen Keller is not Helen Keller, but Stephen Hawking, similar not similar type of thing. I'm writing about how that whole thing works, where it's like, dude, she didn't fly a plane and braille hand her way through freaking
Get an
Harvard.
accent. How do you get an accent? Okay.
Yeah, and the Stephen Hawking thing, like before he had the voice box, like I just noticed that there was all these flat Earth movies, but I wanted to make one when it was just gets really dark.
Do you
I
know
wanted
that
I
he was
wanted to have
never
one that was
listed on the
sinister and
ALS
fun.
website? Everyone has ALS is listed on the ALS website. They all
Yeah,
die within 5 years, except him. He lived 50 years.
yeah, and
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 and,
and
and that voice box,
phenomenal.
famous Stephen Hawking, they couldn't have upgraded his voice box to something a little better, right?
No,
And then have you've seen the videos where he's like, and the guy's translating it like,
yeah, he's like, yeah, no, I mean, I could show you
dude,
a
it's
section
a
of my film
puppet.
about that. If it's
It's a
8 minutes
puppet.
of my film, it is straight up of him groaning and like in a chair, like like Chewbacca. And
Dude,
it's like, I wanted to throw that on my film, and I when I was editing that was
is
the
it
final
done?
thing I
Is your
edited
film
before release.
done?
Huh?
Is your film done?
Yeah, yeah. No, I really want you to see it.
Will you send it to me?
Yeah, yeah.
It's not,
You mean
I,
text it to you?
text it to me. Yeah, yeah. Send it to me.
All right. Yeah, watch it on a big screen. It's one of
I
those
will watch it on
lights
the big
off.
screen. I'm
Yeah,
in. I love a good film,
yeah,
especially if it
yeah.
has some truth in it.
This one's, I mean, but you'll see the tactic is just like to, hey, yeah, I have coffee customers, I have really wonderful coworkers, and I'm just like, yeah, it's my film. It's about chess. You guys like chess? And they're like, oh, well, I'd like to learn more. And then they come out like, I feel like mashed potatoes. I'm like, yeah, well, guess what? You're not,
Right.
I stood up, and I want to address one more thing. I hope I have time to,
We've
but
got
like,
like 6 minutes.
cool. Like, so I have this quarter, and I managed to stand it on its side on a marble counter over here and it stayed there for 18 hours. So for anybody who really thinks whether they're on a globe that's moving or if they really believe in this upwards moving
Gravity,
Earth
dude.
crap,
Gravity, dude.
yeah, the gravity, and like
Gravity.
it's just like, no, the world's just not moving, and I can stand this quarter on its side. But like, if the world was continuously moving up, I think that stuff sells people back on the idea of space again, and the infinity vacuum above
Imagine
us.
yourself in a Mack truck on a perfectly smooth road going 100 miles an hour at a cruise control set, perfectly smooth, brand new, and you're in the middle of the cabin, enclosed. There's nothing. You're standing there, no problem.
Yeah.
If that truck takes the slightest turn or changes speed the slightest amount, you're going to fall.
Yeah.
Okay,
Exactly.
you're going to fall. We're
Exactly.
spinning at 66,000 miles an hour, orbiting at 66,000, spinning at 1,000, and chasing the sun at 500,000. And everything's curved.
Yeah.
Right? They say airplanes nose down. Get out of town. The new SR-72 Blackbird goes 4,000 miles an hour. It would have to nose down at 1.1 miles per second.
Wow.
Well, gravity, dude, you don't understand, man. It's a level with the Earth. It doesn't matter, gravity or not, you're turning off of your trajectory at a rate that would put 80 G's into your ass and push you against the ceiling.
Yeah. And it's like the people who cite physics so much, they can just say the word physics like a cockatoo, like physics, science. When you trust the science, like it's just okay. But like, and obviously, like, I made a film also on my Substack, which I'll send to you as well. It's like a prequel to Vanishing Point called Beyond Good and Evil. It's a tip of the hat to the Nietzsche book. I like it so much, but it's to encourage people to read old books, But like I made that one about the whole, C-19 problem. Obviously, like there's an issue of poisons, and I know there's nuance about, there's a lot of people still stuck in the germ theory. There's a lot of controlled opposition that kind of pushes that. Obviously, the RFK thing is just like cringe to me, but
oh my Lord,
but like, there's people like Dr. Sam Bailey out there who are just running around there just trying to scream this from the rooftops. And I thought to make art films that would kind of help people like that out. Just be like,
I can't wait to watch your film. I can't wait.
Man, I'm excited. I'm excited to show you.
I can't wait to watch it.
And yeah, and some of the points I make in that film is just like, just making it really obvious with the whole, like, there's dancing nurses in empty hospitals, like you got duped, y'all. Like, this is a massive sales chop, and it is part of a very real totalitarian agenda. It's not like, we're not kidding. Like, we're the flat earth thing breaks the spell to the point where everybody can.
I hate telling people to watch Silent Weapons for Silent Wars or
Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars. I read it when I was 19 years old.
Yeah. And
I wrote hardcore albums about that. You know that?
And Deborah Tavares, she's been hammering down the latest tech that's coming out that's going against us. So people need to look her up, Deborah Tavares. And
I have okay. What's her name again?
Deborah Tavares, and her website is stopthecrime.net is one of her websites. And just watch what now and again, watch it and don't become fearful. Laugh, right. But just be aware. Just be aware.
Yeah, for sure. And I want to show you one thing.
All right. Then we gotta wrap.
And then we'll go. It's like I was also a drummer in a lot of hardcore bands. Do you ever listen to hardcore music? Like more like the 80s hardcore, like the fast stuff.
Deftones?
Well, like before that. Like, I mean, I like that stuff too. I listen to everything.
Primus?
I like Primus too.
I had a great
have you ever heard
experience.
of like Black Flag or like Minor Threat and stuff like that? Like,
no, I was not. I did not get into
okay.
I didn't go that hard.
I was a part of an esoteric scene of hardcore musicians, Dave, and in Raleigh, North Carolina, and here in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where I live now. But this is a record I made in 2012. It's called Strip Mines.
Okay.
And I was the drummer in this, and here's a picture of me. I brought it as a little prop for you. But I want to introduce you to hardcore music, because we were sitting around digesting like David Icke books and FEMA camp documentaries, and we were just shouting from the rooftops about all this conspiracy stuff. And you mean the
David Icke that predicted everything that's happening? That David Icke?
Yeah.
The guy we be right about everything.
Well, that's what he says. It's fine if you're wrong about a thing or two, man. Take it easy.
I'm sure he's not right about everything, but
yeah. I did digging. A conversation between you and him should happen. I think it'd be interesting.
I was hanging out with his son at Acapulco. We had some great conversations. So
that's cool.
It could happen one day. Dave. David's not a flat earther. He's beyond Earth. Okay,
He,
the Earth
he
isn't a
like the
ball.
holographic thing.
Yeah,
I tend to have some agreement with that.
I'm
A
with
little
it. I'm
bit.
with it. Yeah,
Like it's kind of like, eat some magic mushies and find out. It's like,
sure.
yeah, this sounds like you can't really put words to that, but like, yeah, I wanted to show you that record. I'll text it to you too. It's a 20-minute hardcore album, and we're blasting off in the lyrics, like revealing all this stuff about the conspiracies a long time ago, and then obviously the 2020 thing happened and everybody fell for the germ theory thing, and I was like, wait a minute, but what about these records we were making? Do
Yeah.
you guys not read my lyrics? Like, and so I had to evolve, and then the flat earth thing really, like, my first impression on it was like, there's just no way. But then obviously there comes the time where I'm pacing in my room and throwing books across the room and freaking out, like, I can't be a flat earth person. This is a nightmare. Like, I thought this was
That's Owen
hilarious.
Benjamin's line. You saw my.
No, I had the same experience.
The awakening of Owen Benjamin. That's my favorite.
John
montage.
Thor's edits of that are
Yeah.
top notch. But
So
yeah,
good.
and from I've listened, I don't remember where, but like I remember you had a similar story where you were running a podcast, and then your introduction into that stuff is what it is. But like, yeah, I'm just trying to like help people in the hardcore music scene figure this out, like, as like, become the philosopher, become the mystic, be more than some bartender, be more than just some guy. Like,
Yeah.
like that's what you're doing, man. You're essentially, if you ask me, you're not a podcast person, you're a mystic, and I'm sure you're too humble to say that, but that's what I think of you, man.
I appreciate that. I do have the ability to size somebody up in 2 seconds. And I sized you up pretty quick on the podcast. I'm sorry, I hadn't come across you. And then in 2 seconds, I'm like, I wanna be on this guy's podcast. And you're like, I already booked you for later. I'm like, what? Like, how did that happen? That's a whole other story. That was crazy.
Yeah, and I've never used something like the schedule fly thing. I'm just used to like people calling me and be like, hey.
I'm doing too many interviews in different time zones around the world. And I couldn't survive without it. So,
well, it makes me want to try that. Well, it makes me you using the way you book it. I'm gonna do that now.
I have a friend who's a chiropractor, and he set up an office out of the country, and I said, set up a Calendly. I said, because your office hours are so, and just give people the link, and so people just make their own appointments. It's beautiful. You don't need a secretary. You don't need anything. It's amazing.
Yeah, I was blown away. Like, and
it reminds them, it texts them, it emails them, so to make sure that they don't miss the appointments. It's fantastic.
Do you have to pay for it? Like,
there's a free, you can use it up to a certain amount for free, but it's like $100 a year.
That's nothing.
Yeah,
worth it.
Yeah,
like, we're not sponsored by this for anybody.
I should be. Calendly, everybody. Calendly. Use my referral code Flat Earth. It'll get you nothing. It'll get me nothing, but at least you'll say Flat Earth to somebody.
Yeah, no, it's like, yeah, man. I'm just glad. I hope you'll even want to do this again. And
we can go. We can go again. I'd like
to have like an extended conversation after you see my films, and maybe
let's do that.
See what happens. Like maybe like after you see my films, like, let's hear your reflection and maybe see what your response is, because
all right,
this is I did lock myself in a room for quite some time, and
I get it. Listen, my 3-minute videos take me all day sometimes, so I get it.
yeah, and I wanted to make 1 4-hour film. I didn't want to make 5-minute videos. Like,
no, I get it. I do the opposite, but that's fine. Like, we need 4-hour films. We need 5-minute films.
We need it all.
We need it all. So,
that's right.
Shout out to Sean Hibbler, Old World Order. Well, I think that's bringing so many people to Flat Earth, because they start if they're not ready for Flat Earth, they start with Old World, and they're like, wait a minute. Then you hit them with Flat Earth, their minds are open already, and they're in. They're in. So
yeah, and I have a job at this shout out French Meadow Cafe, but all my coworkers there are so cool. But like, slowly they're just like digesting this material of like things I say. I just kind of go off a couple, like, yeah, whatever, man, it's a mess because I don't know, these people think they're on a globe, and they think my jokes are funny. I'm like, oh, I'm not joking. Like, like, no, I really think it's flat, y'all. Like, and then they're
no, it's flat. They think it's
yeah.
They think it's a globe.
Well, I know it is. Yeah.
And Sean's next movie coming out, it's about those funny lines that come out of the back of airplanes, and
Yeah.
probably coming out pretty soon. I think it's going to be a game
Uh-huh.
changer when that comes out.
He
So
he has a video mixtape that he's made before called Look Up somewhere. I think it was him. And I was talking
I
with
don't think that was him. I don't think that was him.
no, okay. Yeah, it's not the Don't Look Up, but there's one that's called Look Up, and it just is the
Yeah.
footage of all this like
No,
geoengineering
he's
stuff.
in the tail end of filming it now, and
Yeah.
it's going to be a game changer. And not to diminish all of the other people that made films before him,
Right.
like Frankenskies by
Yeah, that's a good one.
I just interviewed him. I'm just having a brain fart. It'll come to me. Frankenskies.com if anyone wants a good movie on the lines in the sky. So there you go.
Yeah.
Frankenskies, Frankenskies.
Yeah. And you know, I was talking and there's a guy you're in those level films with, Tanner Stewart. I was talking to him about the new upcoming film that they're working on, and you know, I was just like voice chatting with him a little bit, and he's a really interesting guy. I love his comedy delivery. It's perfectly harsh. You know, the video with him in the basketball, you know, just yelling at a camera. That is old fashioned good
You
humor.
got to talk to him about Bigfoot.
Oh, he knows about that stuff, huh?
He's got a family living on his property. No kidding. Matt Lambert. That's what I'm thinking. Matt Lambert.
Matt Lambert. Yeah, Matt Lambert. I follow him. That's right.
Yeah.
He's brilliant.
And
Tanner was talking about the ether tech that he's putting together. That's cloud busting.
Yeah,
just like you
right.
ever heard the artist Kate Bush? She has a song called Cloud Busting.
Yeah. And I've seen them work. They literally poke holes in the sky. On the app, you have this is Matt's site where he's got these EMF clothing. These hats are friggin' fantastic. The shirts, everything, and you get 10% off with the code Flat Earth. And
very cool.
From that, he occasionally throws me some hats, and then I end up giving them to other people.
Last thing, Dave, before we go, I gotta ask you, have you heard about the white vinegar trick?
I did it. I have a whole bunch of gallons of vinegar. I did now. Like one day, it was totally chemmy, and Crow 777 in maybe I don't know 150 miles away from me, and I did it. Literally, the sky cleared for both of us, but there was very little air movement that day, so the films would go straight up. Then I tried. Then I did another time. It worked. Maybe not as well. Other times it was windy and it didn't work.
Cool.
Right. The problem with that is you have to burn a lot of vinegar. You have to stay home. Like I want it to work while I'm out. You know, if I'm down on the water, I want it to be working, and you can't just leave a pot of vinegar boiling at home alone. So there's a lot.
You do like an outdoor trap,
but the cloud busters supposedly work better.
Yeah. I mean, I saw Tanner posting about that, and he's an impressive dude, and I really like that. That's the direction Sean Hibbler's doing. It's like, you know, and obviously, like I was gonna. I mean, in the email when I sent you, I was like, we were gonna talk about TFE, but you already talked about it on Vika's podcast from this past Sunday, and I will say to anyone listening, the hypotheses we have about it are pretty outlandish, and but like it's not as outlandish as the heliocentric model, and also
they
like
fake the sky and the sun. That's
yeah. I think your theory is really interesting. Your theory is really interesting about it, but like obviously maybe next time we can talk. But like you know, I guess if anybody wants to know your hypothesis about that, they would just go to Vika's newest live called Flat Earth Theater, where you and I got to have an exchange for the first time. That was really fun. So.
You could find in my interviews playlist on my website, flatearthdave.com. Go to interviews, scroll down until you see the interview with Marty Leeds and I about TFE. And we break down the entire thing on what didn't happen and how they faked it.
Very cool. And obviously, like I have my theory about like, there might be a studio, there might be like what it's like. Well, these are hypotheses at the moment, but it's a hypothesis
that I can rule out because I was supposed to go, and only I know that I wasn't in on it. Right. So what are they going to do when I get there? Like, oh, Dave, hey, we need you to. No, it's not going to work that way. Right. So that's how I knew it wouldn't work. The name of the video you're looking for is Faking the Sun in Antarctica, and it's on the Flat Earth Dave Interviews channel, or it's on that playlist. Flat Earth Dave Interviews 2. And it's called Faking the Sun in Antarctica, 49 minutes.
I just wrote it down. Thank you.
Faking the Sun in Antarctica - Flat Earth. All right. Ira, awesome talking to you. Send me the videos. I'll watch them. We'll schedule another interview.
No, I will. And anybody listening, check out my stuff on Substack. Free and paid subscriptions available. Your choice. I know a lot of people are. I don't require payment. It's just, if that's what you want to do, that's cool. But like, my film Vanishing Point is free to the public. Absolutely. It's just, I'll never let anybody pay money for it. So
awesome.
That's what it is. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, brother. See ya.
Thanks, man. See ya.
Bye.
Later.
Hey, everyone. If you enjoyed this interview, please help support my work and help wake up others by referring or gifting the app to at least one person today. By doing that, you're going to help wake people up and help me to continue doing other interviews like this. With the censorship out there that's going on, it's very difficult to find relevant information. And the app, as you know, brings people to the truthful information of our world. So help support my work, help support your efforts in waking up friends, family, and strangers. Gift them the app or just recommend the app. And let's make 2025 the year Flat Earth breaks free. Check the links below for information on how to gift the app or just refer the app to others and use your referral code to earn Dome cryptocurrency and a free subscription. Thanks.